Good morning, everybody. I think I am audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So very good morning to everybody. Let us wait for 2 minutes so that others could join and then we will start the proceedings. Okay. Thank you. So let us start the class because I think those who have not joined, they will join afterwards, but we are losing our time. So let us start the class. Last day we have discussed about that uh, discrete time signals and all that thing. And we have talked about the different types of how a discrete time signal is formed, what are the different types of representation of discrete time signals. And then we talk about standard discrete time signals. In that we have discussed about digital impulse signal, unit step signal, ramp signal, exponential signal, and all other these things. We have also discussed discrete time sinusoidal signal. Then we have discussed properties of discrete time sinusoidal. We have proved that property also. So these are the things that we have done in the last class, or we have presented in the last class. So for a recapitulation, I have reminded you the topics that we have discussed in the last class. And now today we will start our next class about discrete time signal. Discrete time signal is a important factor. Discrete time signals and system is an important factor for our digital signal processing and up to convolution to correlation. This is a big chapter. So it will take like with 8 to 9 lectures to complete discrete time signals and their different types of properties. So we are going to deal with the second day for discrete time signals. And today we will discuss one another type of discrete time signal, a standard signal, and then we will go for the sampling theorem. What do you mean by sampling theorem? How do we do sampling theorem and all these things? So before that, I want to ask you, anybody, any problem with the last day class, or there is any confusion about last day class? Because if you don't have any problem, then we continue further. Or if you have some problem, then we can discuss it today, now, before starting the class. So I think there is no problem. So let us go for the next module or next chapter of discrete time signals. Actually, the module is discrete time signal system. And next is the standard discrete time signals. We have missed another type of discrete time signals. And let's talk about that. So today we are going to discuss first the standard discrete time signals. And only one standard discrete time signals. There are different types of standard discrete time signals, but importance is that one. The last one is very important, and we are going to discuss it today. So, second standard discrete time signals, second lecture. So in the standard discrete time signals, today we are going to discuss about the last but not the least discrete time signals, and this is called the complex exponential signal. Number 6, we have discussed 5, and number 6 is discrete time complex exponential signal. So this part is also important. Like we have discussed about the discrete time signals, this is also important. So let us draw the signal. Let us take the axis, and then so this is the actual complex discrete time signals from. The black is the complex discrete time signals. Okay. looks like this. I have drawn like this because it will help me to draw or not like that. So more or like this is the complex exponential signal, and it is defined as xn equals to a to the power n e to the power j omega 0 n plus theta. So actually this is the equation. So this can be written as equals to a to the power n and e to the power j theta. You know the formula of e to the power j theta? You
Sir,
know
cos
this
theta plus sin theta.
j sin theta, yes. So it can be written as like this. Cos of theta is omega 0 n plus theta here. Means I am taking this total as theta. Okay, so this will be omega 0 n plus theta plus j sin omega 0 n omega 0 n plus theta. So this can be written by this. So that is represented as, if I more simplify, a to the power n cos of omega 0 n plus theta plus a to the power j a to the power n sine of omega 0 n plus theta. So this can be written as x of r n plus j x of I into n. And what is x of r? Where x of r n is the real part of xn, that is equals to a to the power n cos of omega 0 n plus theta, and x of ai equals to imaginary part of xn, that is equals to a to the power n sine of omega 0 n plus theta. So this is the actual expansion, and this drawing is for if 0 is lesser than a lesser than 1. So if this, because this will be like this. If a is greater than 1, then we will have a exponentially rising. This is dot 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 m, and this is x of n. Okay, so understand it very importantly. This is very important for everybody. Everybody, please understand. Discrete time complex exponential signal. Anybody, any problem with this? Just a second, I have to stop this here. Okay, I'm sharing the screen. Okay, so you can see here, discrete time complex exponential signal xn is equal to a to the power n e j omega 0 n plus theta. This is the actual this one, and then we write it like this. There is a problem in joining. A to the power n cos of omega 0 n plus theta plus j sine omega 0 n plus theta. Now I take the imaginary part one side and the real part one side. So I can make it by imaginary part and real part. And which is, I am taking this x of Rn as the real part of xn and x of In as the imaginary part of xn. So that is complex exponential series. We have a real part as well as an imaginary part. So there are different types of complex exponential series. So actually what will happen, the real part of xn will give an exponentially increasing sinusoid sorry, this is not sinusoid, it will be also cosinusoid. So increasing cosinusoid, sequence for a is greater than 1 and exponentially decreasing sinusoid, cosinusoid, sequence for 0 lesser than a lesser than. So this is decreasing, and for a greater than 1 it will be increasing. So this is for x of n equals to a to the power n cos of omega 0 n, only for the real part, this figure. And same for the imaginary part, what will happen? Anybody? Same will be. For imaginary part, it will happen same thing. For imaginary part, xn will give rise to an exponential increasing sinusoid sequence for a is greater than 1 and exponentially decreasing sinusoid sequence for 0 less than a less than 1. So that is for the imaginary part. Please note it very much important. Is imaginary part of xn will give rise to an exponentially increasing sinusoid sequence for a greater than 1 and exponentially decreasing sinusoid for 0 is lies between 0 to 1. So this is applicable. So let us show you what will be the other sinusoidal sequence. I am going to show you that thing. So please wait for some time. Up to this, any has problem about this discrete sinusoidal or like these things? तो सभी को समझ में आया?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you understand, I think it is very easy. Just there will be a real part and imaginary part. There will be two part of signals, and there will be real part and imaginary part. So if there is two types of signals, one is real part and imaginary part. There will be two. One is cosinusoidal, another is sinusoidal. The cosine part will be the real part, and the sine part will be in the imaginary part, imaginary domain. So that is here to be said, and what will be the values of n, a to the power n e to the power j omega 0 plus theta. That is the equation. So from the value of a, if a lies in between 0 to 1, then it will be a decreasing for the cosinusoidal signal also, and for the sinusoidal signal part also, and for the, if a is greater than 1, then it will be increasing for the sinusoidal part as well for the sinusoidal part. So this is the last part of standard signals that we are going to define, because these are the different types of standard signals. So if anybody has some problem, you can ask me again. I can see what are the.
सर आपका स्क्रीन नहीं दिख रहा है सर.
अच्छा, अभी दिख रहा है?
Yes, sir.
अच्छा, दोनों सिग्नल को अगर मैं बोलूं कि दोनों सिग्नल दिखाओ, ये तो पार्ट पार्ट ड्रॉ कर रहा हूं। अगर मैं बोलूं कि दोनों सिग्नल को दिखाना है तो कैसे दिखाओगे? That means there will be sine and cos. So it will be looking like this. There will be ups and downs of the signals. So it will be looking like this. Another signal will cos 0 is equal to 0 and sine cos 0 is equal to 1 and sine 0 is equal to 0. So another signal will be like this. So there will be two waves at a time, dependent time. So that is very important when you will draw. That's why we draw it. Why? We draw it one by one. One for the sinusoidal, one for the cosinusoidal. It will be more interesting for them. So, okay, so that is the discrete time complex exponential signal. Now today we are going to the important portion, that is another important, very, very important portion. And that is sampling of continuous time signals. That means we told analog signals can be classified into two categories. One is continuous time, one is discrete time. So if we sample the continuous time signal, we get discrete time signal. So we have to know how to sample the continuous time signal. We have to know how to sample the continuous time signal. This is very important. That's why we do the sampling theory or sampling all the things. So sampling is actually the first process of digitalizing signal. If we don't do sample, we will not get discrete time signal. And then if we don't do coding or quantize the signal and do the encoder or use the encoder there, we cannot get any other types of signal, digital signal. So sampling is very much important. So next chapter or next portion is called sampling of sampling of continuous time or analog signal. That is our next chapter. So what is sampling? Let us write the definition. The sampling is the process of a continuous time signal, process of conversion, conversion of a city, I am writing city because continuous time is written as city, signal into a dt, that is for discrete time signal. The sampling is performed by taking samples of continuous time signals at definite intervals of time. Usually the time interval between two successive samples will be saved. And such type of sampling is called periodic or uniform sampling. So this is the definition of the sampling. The sampling is the process of conversion a continuous time signal into a discrete time signal. The sampling is performed by taking samples of continuous time signals at defined intervals of time. Usually the time interval between two successive samples will be the same, and such type of sampling is called periodic or uniform sampling. Very important, this point, periodic or uniform sampling. What the successive samples between two samples, the time interval between two successive samples will be same, and such type of sampling is called periodic or uniform sampling. So if it is a periodic and uniform sampling, the successive time interval, the time interval between two successive samples will be same. That means if this is a signal, this is our analog signal, and if I do the sampling of this signal, that means, like this our signal is. So I am sampling the signal like this. Sample the time interval of this signal and make it a discrete time signal. So this successive difference, I take another color, it will be interesting. Look at this. If this difference is delta t 1 and this is delta t2, then for uniform sampling, delta t2 is equal to delta t1. So this is for the periodic or uniform sampling. Two successive intervals between two successive samplings will be set. Okay. The time interval between successive samples is called sampling time. The time interval between successive samples is called sampling time. And it is denoted by anybody, can you tell me what is it is denoted by? Capital.
What, sir?
It is denoted by what? Capital T. And its unit is second.
सर डिस्क्रीट टर्म में तो n से करते हैं।
हाँ, इनसे करते हैं, पर हम ये बोल रहे हैं कि सैंपलिंग का जो सक्सेसिव सैंपल्स है उसे सैंपलिंग टाइम बोलते हैं और उसे डिनोट
Yes, sir.
करते हैं कैपिटल टी से, और इसका
Yes, sir.
यूनिट टी सेकंड होता है, ठीक है। And the lower units are millisecond and microsecond. The inverse of sampling period is called sampling frequency. The inverse of sampling period is called sampling frequency. Anybody know what is sampling frequency? Actually, that's why it is a what f is equal to 1 by t. You know that. So the inverse of sampling period is sampling frequency. The inverse of sampling time is called sampling frequency. Okay, and it is denoted by Fs. Unit is Hertz. That's why it is called cycles per second. Cycles per second is equal to Hertz. Okay. So anybody, any confusion with this? Because we have just 1 minute left, so we are going to stop here and we will start the sampling theorem mathematical portion in the next class. So anybody, any confusion about sampling up to this?
No, sir.
Okay. So this is your sampling of continuous time signals first class. Next day we will talk about sampling of continuous time signals in we will describe about this. We will talk about it deeply about sampling. Then we will take for what will be the problem for sampling. There are some problem or there are some outcome side effects for sampling, and it is called aliasing. When it is happening, when the aliasing effect will happen, actually what is the sampling theorem, how to avoid the aliasing, and some calculations on and some problems on sampling theorem. So that will be our next day class, and I have given a little bit overview for that. Thank you for staying in this class. Hope you have enjoyed. If there is any question,